The tint of the room slowly changes from the shine of the afternoon to the orange of dusk. A clock lazily ticks away the seconds, counting in the background on the verge of hearing. You know, I wonder with this thing called castling, what if she's actually she's probably very experienced in chess. That'd be interesting. Anyway. Excuse me. So, anyway. But no matter how long I wait, the outcome cannot be changed. The diminutive playing piece makes a small click against the board. Like a wound spring, Hanako makes her move only moments after mine. It's embarrassing, and in comparison to my 5-minute moves, she seems to know exactly what she wants to do. Mate. Again, what does that make this? 3-2? Stalemates don't count. Damn, you're getting better at this every day. That or she's been holding back. I'd never have thought it when I first met her, but she really has a knack for this game. Chess seems to have become a popular pastime for the two of us, hiding away in the tea room playing a game or two after classes. From here, the students outside can just barely be heard milling about. The everyday noises from below remind me a little of my life before Yamaku, though I'm by now well aware that it's a life I'll never get back to. Fancy another game? I have to finish my homework. Oh, well, I'll see you tomorrow then. But, what about this? Hanako points to the tea set surrounding the mostly empty chessboard. Don't worry about that, I've got it. Oh, okay. See you. Later. Hanako departs as I start cleaning up the area. The occasional whistles and cheers from the sporting clubs outside become less frequent, eventually approaching silence. A part of me still wants to be in some kind of team, since I played soccer and other sports before my accident. I guess it's only normal to feel nostalgic about what I can't do anymore. But I have other reasons than that for my coming here so often, and I don't feel so bad about losing that part of myself because of them. Lily is a good friend by now, but it's the small exchanges I have with Hanako that feel especially dear. The small victories I feel every day as I see more of what she's like under her self-imposed shell, that's why I come here most of all. As I'm putting away cups and saucers, I hear talking outside the door. Pausing for a moment to listen, I can make out that it's Hanako and Lily and decide to go outside to investigate. Are you quite sure? I'm sure. Ah, Hisayo. Hanako turns to see me with a look of mild surprise as she noticed my approach. Lily must have caught her just as she was about to leave. Oh my, Hisayo is here as well. Afternoon, Lily, what's up? I was hoping now that I've finished with my class representative duties for the day, that I might have the two of you accompany me for tea at the Shanghai. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves outside of the school for a change. I'd be up for it. I think Hanako had work to do, though. It's not all that much. Wonderful. It seems that we're decided then. I cast my eyes across the cafe as the three of us step in. As usual, there are only a handful of people around at most, and the noise level is a quiet background hum. The hold Lily has on Hanako's arm remains just as it has been for the entire slow walk down the hill to the local town, though it's hard to say for which reason, for Lily's guidance or for Hanako's reassurance. For a moment, Lily removes her arm for Hanako's to retract her cane as Yuko quickly skitters over to where we stand, but soon replaces it right back where it had been. Welcome to the Shanghai. May I take your order? She gives a deep bow, her well-delivered and professional introduction, putting her in a good mood. It's a nice change from the norm of Yuko. Just tea, please, Hanako Hisayo. I'll have a slice of pie and a coffee. Just tea, please. Coming right up. Please take any seat you wish, and I'll be back shortly. Yuko gives a smile and a nod before shuffling to the counter, and we make our way to some empty seats by the window in quick measure. We slip into our seats, the girls on one side with Lily's cane propped up beside them, and I on the other. I realize that Hanako is not doing something that she so often does. Rather than keeping her eyes pinned to the ground and hiding behind her blind escort, bustily trying to convince herself that the world around them doesn't exist, she's merely keeping her eyes low and helping Lily around. Are you okay, Lily? You look tired. Supposed to say are you, but you know, that was a typo. She lowers her head a little, looking somewhat embarrassed that she let it show. Class representative work can be very tiring, considering that it often means dealing with the student council. Very tiring indeed. How do the other representatives go? Better than I, but not by much. Shizune is a harsh taskmaster no matter whom she deals with. It doesn't sound like you particularly relish the job. Why do you do it in the first place if it's that bad? Being a class representative is enjoyable and I can deal with the responsibility well enough. It's just that the people involved are sometimes... She trails off, cutting her word at a rather opportune spot. It's hard to imagine Lily cursing, but I imagine that if anyone could make her do so, it would be Shizune. Hanako looks to be withering a bit in the light of such conflict, but before I can steer the topic away a little, she stands up. Hanako? I'll be back in a bit. With that, she leaves for the restrooms. I suppose that's one way to deal with that situation if that was indeed her motivation. Lily, however, looks a little wounded. Don't worry about it, I don't think it was you. But I think she's been getting stronger recently. You've seen it yourself, right? That went a bit awry. Fortunately, Lily doesn't look offended, and by now I really shouldn't be quite so scared of stepping on that landmine around her. Possibly. Sometimes I find it hard to tell, though. Silence reigns for a moment before 2 teacups, a pie, and a mug of steaming coffee appear in front of us. I notice that Yuko takes special care to place the teacups against the tip of Lily's fingers, letting her know where it is. Here you go. Thanks, Yuko. Thank you. With a quick and silent bow, the bespectacled waitress takes her leave. Ah, that's right. I was meaning to ask you something, and now would be the right time to do so. I'm all ears. Hanako's birthday is coming up. Yeah, see, there you go. And I was hoping that you might accompany me for present shopping in the city this weekend. Hanako's birthday is soon. I suppose it would be a nice chance to cheer her up a bit. Like Yuko, she always seems to be teetering on the edge of either panic or depression, and I've never seen her enjoy herself much outside of our chess games. Excuse me. All that aside, learning the layout of the city better with a friend keeping me company sounds like a good way to spend the weekend. Sure, I'd be happy to. Have you got any plans for what to do for her birthday, a party or anything? Hanako being Hanako, perhaps a low-key affair would be. Lily suddenly cuts herself short, leaving me to wonder why as she brings her teacup to her lips and begins to sip. After a few seconds, I notice Hanako walking up to us over her shoulder. Lily's hearing must be very good indeed if it was the sound of the restroom door opening that tipped her off. Hanako takes her seat once again and wastes no time in drinking her tea. Soon the 3 of us are quietly eating and drinking as the sun sets. It's a nice way to spend the remainder of the day's light, and it makes me appreciate the quiet and serene surroundings of Yamaku. I think I'm really beginning to like life here, as isolated as it may be. I finish off the last of my coffee and rest the mug on the table while the girls talk between themselves. The coffee here is a little bitter for my taste, but still quite good. Better than what I can make for myself in any case. The girls' discussion is mainly focused on their respective reading preferences, which does give me a little curiosity about a related topic. Hey Hanako, I was just wondering, aside from chess and reading, do you have any hobbies or things you like doing? She's completely stopped in her tracks, looking quite surprised that anyone would be interested in asking such a question about her. It takes her a little time to formulate a response. I guess I like singing a little. I'm okay with computers as well, but I don't use them all that much. Singing's not exactly something I expect to hear. It's hard to imagine her singing voice given how soft-spoken she is. Lily, on the other hand, simply nods. She must already know all this since she's been friends with Hanako for 1 year or so by now. What about me? She hesitates before quickly flicking her head up and down. It's only logical that she'd want me to talk about my hobbies after she's told me hers. There's chess, obviously, but also, There was soccer as well, though. I can't really do that anymore. Reading which I picked up in hospital. This is surprisingly hard. Lily and Hanako look a little put off by the direction this is taking, and the more I think about it, the more I am too. It sounds as if you've picked up quite a few things since your accident. Lily's candor is coated with probably the most positive spin on one could put on what I said. Hanako, however, is silent. If a situation becomes difficult, her reaction always seems to be withdrawing into silence, in order to prevent things getting worse, that or physically retreating. A soft ringing gives us pause. As Lily reaches into her pocket, it becomes obvious that the sound's coming from her phone. Sorry. It's okay. Lily gives a quick nod before shuffling out of her seat and taking the call a little distance away to avoid disturbing the both of us. Must be nice to be popular. Hanako smiles but doesn't take up the hook for further discussion. I end up just sitting back and closing my eyes, relaxing as best as I can. It's nice and peaceful here. I wonder what it'd be like to have grown up somewhere like this rather than in the city. You came from the city? Looks like I found something she wants to talk about. Yeah, you could say I was a city kid through and through. It sounds like a lot changed. It did. I'm still not quite sure what to make of it all, though it's a bit of a culture shock in more ways than one. You must have gone through something like this when you first arrived at Yamaku, right? I'd imagine most new students would. Not really. Hanako gazes a little to the side, looking unwilling to go on. I tilt my head inquisitively, but a couple of seconds pass with no further answer. But can't we deal with that on Monday? The fallout has hardly settled from the blast. I understand. I'll try to talk to her down. You know what she's like when she gets locked onto an idea. Yes, thank you. I'll talk to you later then. Goodbye. Lily's conversation ends with a snap of her phone closing. She returns to our table but doesn't take her seat. Need to go? Unfortunately, class representative work calls once again. I can come with you. It's alright, Hanako. I'll just be going straight to the student council. There's no need to spoil a fine evening on my account. Besides, if you were to accompany me on my way back to the school, who would keep our poor Hisayo company? Okay. I can join you for tea again later tonight if you'd like. I may well need it. Well, we'll agree on that plan, and Lily says her farewells to the both of us, taking her cane after Hanako passes it to her. Despite my offer to pay for Lily's share, she insists on giving us her portion of the bill and gives her regards to Yuko as she takes her leave. And then we're all alone. It may be all well and good to leave Hanako and me alone to have some time together, but all it typically means is the two of us sitting near each other in the silence for a while. I wonder what it must look like to Hanako. I never thought of myself as a scary person, but to have someone my own age acting this way around me makes me intensely self-aware, as if it's my fault that she's so troubled. She might get more used to people if she were to stop being so cloistered in Yamaku, but then again, when even people much older than her react so strongly after a single glance at her face, she may well feel the same way I do now. It's a real catch-22 if she stays in Yamaku. She won't get used to socializing, but if she leaves, any efforts she might try would get thrown back at her by the people who can't deal with her scarring. With her scarring, I mean. Want to order something else to keep us going? We haven't had much of a dinner after all. Hanako brightens and nods vigorously, glad that I brought up the topic for her. I catch Yuko's gaze and she dutifully comes over to take our orders. Oh shit, sorry, I accidentally double-clicked. Hold on. So... Dinner after all. Hanako brightens and nods vigorously, glad that I comes over. Oh, okay, so I just basically, the character just comes over, but I skip that and it goes... So, would you like something else? Okay, that's what she says? Yeah, okay, never mind. I'll just have a sandwich special and a hot chocolate, but a bit late for coffee by now, Hanako. I'll have the same. With a nod and a bow, Yuko turns on the ball of her foot and returns behind the counter where she busies herself fishing out bread and condiments and working the machine to make our drinks. Not a word is said between us until Yuko comes back. She smiles and gives us our food and drinks before moving to a customer who's called for her attention. I give up on the prospect of having much of a conversation with my companion and decide to just enjoy the meal, small as it may be. It tastes nice as does most of the food here. After having a few mouthfuls, I notice something's missing, namely the sound of Hanako eating. Looking back to her, I see Hanako fidgeting a little behind her untouched sandwich. Not hungry? She shakes her head from side to side. Even as she does, the patch of her hair she keeps over the right side of her face still does its job in hiding it almost entirely. It's not that. I was all ready to have your share too. You looked troubled. Is something wrong? I'm startled by her thinking that I'm the one who looks troubled, but on second thought, she's probably right. My face may have given away my emotions without me noticing, and she's hardly a dim person, quite the opposite. We're friends, right? Friends? From the tone of her voice and shrinking posture, it looks as though I've hit yet another landmine. This is another reason why interacting with her is difficult. The self-imposed psychological barrier she puts up between herself and others, including me and most likely even Lily. It's a shame, but that... I think that we are... I'm a little taken off guard by Hanako's straightforward answer, all the more so since I was about to give up on getting any reply at all. I see. Am I wrong? Sorry, No, it's just hearing confirmation of that from you is reassuring. To pick up on what you said earlier, since coming to Yamaku, I've been a bit uneasy about how I should relate with others. I find myself chuckling a little. It's surprising how much of a relief that was. I can feel my face smiling as I pick up my cup of hot chocolate and bring it to my lips. Ouch, that's hot. That's why I haven't eaten yet. I was waiting for my drink to cool down first. I guess I'll wait then. The both of us share a little chuckle. The situation isn't really that funny, but for some reason it feels like laughing is the most natural thing to do right now. I guess we were both a bit wound up about each other. I was so busy thinking Hanako was the one with something wrong. It took her to remind me that I was uneasy as well. But be that as it may, it still feels a little nice to have someone thinking about me like that in her own way. Following a long, quiet trudge up the hill and into the school grounds, the two of us find ourselves between the two dormitories. Regular night patrols pass between the male and female dormitory buildings, both for security and to quickly raise the alarm for any medical issues that may arise. The guard currently on duty notices us and gives us a quick nod as he continues on his way. A loud yawn escapes from Hanako's mouth before she has a chance to cover it. I have little doubt she's fairly tired by now. I'd better be off to my room then. See you tomorrow, Hanako. Good night. Good night. We separate and begin to walk our separate ways before I stop and look back. Hanako stands there waving to me as she smiles. I smile and wave back to her, and after a few seconds she turns and walks up the stairs to her dormitory building, disappearing through the door. These little moments we share between us feel like a small treasure. One thing is sure, I want to protect that small, delicate smile she so fleetingly wears around so few people. I wonder about these feelings I have when Hanako's around and when I'm able to do things for her. Whether they may be the seed for something beyond that we share, now. Alright, I'm gonna end it off here, so I'll come back to this next time. So this was actually really nice. I'm actually, really enjoying it. So it's very interesting of what's going on in this. I love how deep we're going in so far. So anyway, we're just gonna save right here. Create new save. Progress successfully saved. And we'll go to the main menu. Alright, you want to go to the main menu? Yes. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And by the way, that song, that music, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the music that was happening when she was explaining her backstory, that was the same song that played when I was talking to Lily on the phone about Hanako and stuff, so... excuse me, I'm just saying it's the same exact thing as before, so... And it was a really nice song, and just like to point that out. So yeah, really enjoying it. I also love how Lily's in this as well. Honestly, I think I'm noticing that I kind of like Hanako a little bit more than Emmy, actually. Emmy is great, but... So I actually chose Emmy in the first place because, I don't know, I do like the shy girls, but I was afraid that, that would have Hanako as, the really, really shy types, but honestly, I feel like she's pretty alright. Actually, then again, maybe I think it's mainly because I wanted to go for, I guess also the fact that, I guess I'm not really that into girls who have deep psychological trauma because, I don't know, even I myself, I don't have that, psychological issues, but I feel like, with how that's whatever unfortunate stuff might happen in my life, that what if there might be a psychological issue that might happen in the future. But that's a little something about myself, me being a non-normie. You can watch my old videos about that, but hence that's kind of why I chose Emmy instead of Hanako, because I just wanted to go for the girl that's kind of normal in a way, and also who doesn't have scarred skin, because I feel like she might not look good, during the sexual moments and stuff. But that's just my thing of it. Make of that whatever you will, if you know what I'm saying. But that could change when that moment happens, so who knows. So yeah, anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time.